Hey, what's going on, guys? Gunshot here and welcome. So we're out and about on another chilly day. So thought rather than having to wash two bikes and just take the Himalayan out again, and then I've only got this one to wash. All adds up to its 1,000 miles before I can do whatever speed on it. Holy poo, that's foggy. I'm glad I wore my winter jacket. So riding in fog and things doesn't really bother me a huge amount. I mean, I know I'm only going slowly, and I know it bothers quite a lot of people. It was a bit like when I was out yesterday doing my Christmas shopping, snow on the ground and stuff. It doesn't really bother me. I mean, ice bothers me more than the snow does. Sorry, obviously with the roads, the majority of the time you're going to end up with a track where vehicle tyres have been, where there's no snow like there was yesterday. So it's absolutely fine. You know, you pick your track and you ride in it, depending on what's coming ahead, etc., and what's the better route is. I suppose in that sense it's probably a little bit like riding off-road. You just pick your lines a little bit better as you go around corners, try to avoid hazards, and what I do try and do is avoid the centre of the road. Now there's two logics of thought. You either ride in the centre where it's drier because engines have been over it, or you ride in the wheel tracks where there's less muck. I prefer the wheel tracks because the wet doesn't bother me. But it's not icy today, so it's not really an issue. It's actually quite warm. I wish the temperature gauge on this was in Celsius. I think you can change it, I just don't know how. I need to read the manual. It's like as soon as you join any sort of motorcycling group to do with the model, what sort of oil do you use? What tyre pressures do you use? But yeah, riding in sort of adverse weather and stuff, it has never massively bothered me. I think it just depends how you go about it. When it's cold and wet and there's leaves everywhere, yeah, if you're bumming around everywhere, then you're going to end up having an accident. Whereas, you know, just take it gently, read the road, make sure your lights are on and you're visible. So for example, I have my cold weather jacket with bright, I don't know if you can see in the mirror, it's got bright orange high vis bits all over it, just to help me stand out. But it's also on the arms, which is useful because, like now, I've got a backpack on, so high vis wouldn't have really worked. And obviously this time of year you just need to make sure for random bits on the road like that rock, make sure you can stop in the visibility you have. You know, basically just do as much as you can do to be visible, and just take it gently, because there's always going to be some muppet without the headlights on, like that person there with no headlights on. And just read the road, watch out for rubbish. You know, if you're in the countryside, watch out for tractors. If you go past a farm, there's a high chance there's going to be mud on the road. If it's windy, there's a high chance that there's going to be, you know, gateways, things like that, which could potentially knock you off balance if you're a newer rider. I remember the first time it gave me a hell of a shock when I passed a gateway in a gale force wind. Yeah, it's just about being, you know, if there's a gateway or something, then just be careful. Just about being sensible, that's all, and don't rag it, jeez. Welling's high. Nothing compared to the flooding I had yesterday. And also change the roads you ride. So for example, in summer when the road conditions are better, typically I'll ride on any road really, B roads, A roads, fun roads, etc. Especially with this, I'll take it down like those really narrow chewed up lanes and stuff like that. But I think once the weather gets worse, I'm not going to be doing that, and I tend to ride on more main roads and things, or more major roads like this, although it's a B road, is the main road from Harborough, which then goes up to Upping, all that way is Corby. So it's actually a heavily used road. So even in the depths of winter, when it's snowing, it tends to be pretty clear. Pin locks are great for stopping your visor misting up for the majority of the time. I actually knocked mine the other week, so it's starting to let a bit of mist in. But the key thing is just make sure you can be seen. If that means riding, you know, with your visor open a smidge, great, do it. I appreciate for YouTube purposes, it makes it a touch loud. I don't think, you know, providing you're being sensible, I don't think bad weather's anything to be scared of. As I say, I tend to put my bikes away once the gritters come out, just because of the rust and stuff. And I won't ride if it's snowing. Generally, that's just a dumb idea. And likewise, if it's really, really icy. It's just about applying a little bit of common sense to the situation, making sure that you're safe, making sure that you're seen. Tyres make a huge difference in winter, and I'm not saying about going and buying winter tyres or anything like that, but my little Chinese 125, when I had it, had nylon tyres, and there was just no grip at all in winter. The bike would just slip and slide. As even a corner like that, you'd be at risk at losing the front. Just making sure you have decent tyres, not some budget no-name, you know, nylon tyres. Make sure they're made out of rubber. It makes a huge difference. Obviously, same things as normal. And riding in rain, things like that, you want to make sure you're away from white lines. Try avoid manhole covers because they get quite slippy. I actually really enjoy riding in adverse conditions. I find it more technical. It's actually rather foggy. Oh, what a beautiful view. So this is the iceberg reservoir, where I've mentioned it before on videos, where one of the places they used to test the bouncing bomb, but it looks lovely with the winteriness of the place around. Yeah, I mean, these sorts of roads, you just have to be really careful in winter. Obviously you got, you know, water all over them, mud all over them, people bird watching. Just take it gently and all should, in theory, be okay. Just trying to think which is the best way to go. Not been along this road for donkey's years. My grandparents used to live in the village along there. I used to love this road back when I was on a 125, but it's just one of those roads on a sort of smaller capacity bike. It's just one of these roads. It's got so many different elevation changes and things like that. It's just a lovely road to ride. It's better in the dry when it's not caked in mud, but especially on a smaller bike as well. So much fun. You know, I used to come hounding along here thinking I was something special on the 125. It just felt like such a fast road. Of course we know it's not, but just because of the increases and the different corners and things, you just find yourself constantly changing gear. There used to be a pothole up here that you could lose a football in. Yeah, so it's just about, you know, trying to read the road as much as you can do. So, you know, you can see there's a shit there, big pothole, but there's mud and gravel to the side of me. I love riding at this time of year, and yes, as you know, as we've said, there's various different challenges, and yeah, it's freezing cold and I really need to buy some heated grips, but the countryside's just so beautiful. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching, and take care.